They say every video has its own story, but this one, all that remains of it is a laugh. A laugh found inside the memory of a phone around 3 in the morning, and no one still knows where Sarah is. When the police found the phone, it was still warm, as if the recording had just finished minutes ago. On the screen it read, "Final recording.mp4", and the duration was exactly 13 minutes and 13 seconds. But the strange part was that the recording time didn't match the phone's internal clock. It was 3 minutes ahead, as if the phone had recorded before the real time. This file was Sarah's last file, a video that seemed unclear whether she was joking, warning, or talking to herself. But whatever it was, a laugh could be heard in the middle, a dry, drawn-out laugh. And those who listened say that sound didn't resemble any human being. Her name was Sarah, 28 years old, a freelance photographer, alone, with a notebook full of unfinished projects and thousands of nighttime city photos. A calm person, but not ordinary. Someone for whom the night was like a refuge. She always said, "The darkness doesn't judge me, it just watches." But no one knew that darkness wasn't just a spectator. Sometimes it wants to be seen. That night, the night the file was recorded, Sarah went out of her house with her camera. She wanted to capture silence, a personal project for her upcoming exhibition. Photos of empty streets, half-burned lights, and that special feeling that only spreads in the air at midnight. Her last message to Alex, her childhood friend, was at 2:27 a.m. "You'll never realize how alive the darkness is." Alex didn't reply. When Sarah's phone was found in the morning, the message was still there. But later, they discovered that night, Sarah hadn't just taken photos. She had filmed as well. And that video showed something that had no logical explanation. At the second minute of the video, Sarah stood under a street lamp, a yellow dim light that flickered with every breeze. The sound of the wind came, and a very faint laugh from afar. A childish laugh, yet tired. Sarah turned, saw nothing. She said, "If it's a joke, that's enough." No answer came. A minute later, the camera switched to autofocus. And that's when a shadow appeared in the corner of the frame. Tall, thin, hunched, as if it had detached from the wall. Sarah first thought it was a tree. She zoomed in. Her hand trembled. And when she looked, she saw the shadow, smiling. It laughed, a short, nervous laugh. She thought maybe she was mistaken. But in that instant, the shadow appeared again, right there, with a wider smile, as if answering her with laughter. From that moment on, whatever she did, the shadow repeated with a delay. When she raised her hand, it raised too, but its smile returned faster, longer, more artificial, as if rehearsed. And that's when Sarah realized the shadow wasn't just following her. It was learning. She was scared. But instead of running, she decided to keep recording. Deep down, she believed that if she finished this video, she might prove she wasn't crazy. With a trembling voice, she said, "If someone is watching this video, if I'm not here, it was following me." At that moment, the file briefly cut off, then resumed. But the sound was no longer normal. A strange noise, like someone breathing right next to the microphone. And in the middle, that laugh. The clock read 3:03 a.m. The wind had grown colder. The street lamp flickered repeatedly, and each time the shadow stepped closer, but no movement could be seen, as if the interval between light and darkness belonged only to it. Sarah was panting. Her hands were frozen. She whispered under her breath, "I need to go back home." But at that moment, a very faint voice came, a drawn-out whisper, like someone speaking from the end of a tunnel. Just one sentence. "Don't go." Sarah stepped back. The camera fell. The frame spun. The shadow was no longer in view. A laugh came. Close. Right behind her. Sarah picked up her phone with trembling hands and dialed Alex's number. 3 rings. No answer. On the 4th ring, a faint clicking sound came. Then, a very soft laugh from the other end. Sarah shouted, "Alex, if that's you, say something." No response, only drawn-out breathing. Then the call ended. A minute later, Alex called back. His voice was sleepy. "Sarah? What time is it? Why did you call?" Sarah said. "Something is following me. A shadow. A laugh." Alex stayed silent, then said, "The laughing shadow?" That was the name of a local legend. An old story only told among the children of her old neighborhood. A creature that doesn't come from darkness, but brings the darkness with it. Alex continued, "Sarah, if that's it, don't run. Just keep recording. Until the end. It hates being seen." Sarah said, "Alex, I don't want to die." He replied, "If you stop, it will come after you." At that very moment, a tapping sound came from behind Sarah. 1, 2, 3 times. Precise and rhythmic, as if someone was gently tapping their finger on something. Sarah turned around and saw that all the streetlights had gone out, except one, and the shadow now stood directly beneath that single light, wearing a smile deeper than before. It didn't come closer. The shadow only raised its hand. A slow, deliberate motion, and after a few seconds of delay, Sarah mimicked the same movement, not by choice, as if her body was being forced to imitate. For the first time, Sarah understood that the shadow was not just some external entity. It had become connected to her, an invisible bond, a reverse imitation. A few hours later, this file was the only evidence left of that night, but it didn't end there. If you're still with me, leave a comment. If you've ever experienced something like this, a shadow, a laugh, a presence at night, write it down. Maybe the next video will be your story. Sarah hurried through the empty streets. Each step matched the beat of her heart. Every time she turned around to look, the shadow wasn't right behind her, but she knew it was still there. The loneliest feeling imaginable, a combination of fear and anticipation. Sarah made it to her apartment. She locked the door behind her, and this time she didn't even dare go near the door's peephole. Something inside her told her that the shadow could now appear inside as well. She stood in the middle of her room, taking a deep breath and looking at the camera, and she realized that what she had thought was a simple entity was much more complex. The shadow could imitate her feelings and movements. Every smile, every look, every hand gesture, it would appear again with a strange and unsettling delay. Sarah decided to make the final call to Alex. Alex said, "Sarah, if you want to stay alive, we need to figure out a solution. Find a safe place, somewhere the shadow can't mimic." Sarah remembered an old attic, full of old things, dimly lit and smelling of dust. She went there. The shadow followed. Same mimicked movements, same fake smile, but this time, Sarah was ready. She grabbed an old box, put it over herself, but not to hide, to trick the shadow. The shadow moved forward, hand raised. Sarah waited. The shadow smiled, but suddenly the light she had brought turned on. The shadow screamed, a non-human sound, a mix of a shout and insane laughter, and when retreated. Sarah quickly left the attic and locked the apartment door. This time the shadow did not enter. But the sound was still there, a faint laugh, as if it was coming from far away. Now she felt no fear, because Sarah realized wherever the shadow was, as long as she controlled the situation, its power was limited. Morning came. Neighbors peered from their windows. Police and firefighters arrived due to reports of strange noises the night before. But no one saw anything except a dark apartment and a phone lying on a table. The last recorded video showed Sarah sitting on the floor, smiling normally. But this time, her laugh was real. A laugh that defeated the fear of the previous night, and the shadow could no longer mimic it. Make sure to follow the next videos as more real stories await.